I wanted to do a quick video to help out some of my students working on bending. It's probably the hardest of all the expression techniques we work on, and there's a couple specific things that are a problem, and I'm going to give you a couple drills that'll help make that easier. So real quick, if you haven't ever done any bending before, probably the best way to get started is on the mouthpiece, because it's really easy to bend on the mouthpiece. As a matter of fact, I can bend like a good octave on it. Let's see. You can go a little bit more than an octave, but when you put it on the saxophone, you can't get near that, right? So, but you can get a good like minor third and more sometimes. And so, but it really, what's important, and what I try to teach my students, is just go for a half step. Really get a true half step, and you're going to be able to do a lot with this. So how do we do that? I'm going to break it down into like 3 separate techniques first that you can practice. The first one is just using the chewing muscles. So that's all right here in front, and just like, let's see. So playing a high C, let's do it on an easy note. The higher notes you'll notice, and the notes that are at the top of the horn are the easiest. Like, now I find that, by itself to be kind of ugly sound, and kind of, it's got like a sawtooth sound to it, right? And what we're really kind of going for is like as smooth a sine wave as we can. So the next technique is using the ah and e of your tongue. And you notice as you say ah and e, your tongue goes up and down. So what we're going to notice right away is that you can do it a lot smoother that way. And it's a great way to practice, because not only will this be great for bending, but it's also going to be really great for your vibrato ability to do it really smooth, like I said, with that kind of sawtooth sound. So you practice that up and down, and you practice it on different notes, because it's going to feel different on like a low D or even a middle D, right? It's just a little harder to bend the longer the tube is, right? So on that high C, it's pretty easy, but you want to go through the different scale notes and practice it. Now, going on, the last one, which for like the really hard notes, is going to be helpful, or if you're a beginner, it's going to also be helpful for you to do this one, and that is to just imagine that like you normally blow straight out through the mouthpiece, across the reed, right? You're going like. Now, if you try to blow down like as if you're blowing towards your chest, like you're really changing the angle of the air, or you can think of blowing towards the reed, the bottom of the reed. It actually cracks at a certain point, Right? So I can get it to go, as far as I can go there, and totally control it. You can go further than that. So that's probably the best way to get started with this. And I could have started with that, but it's really, it's like a combination of all 3. So you need to practice them separately, get control of it, and then you're going to start like being able to use it. Think more of the IE, and I think you'll be happier with that. Now, so once you've got that, then you have to start to get a true half step. That's, you don't need to get more than a half step to be able to do this. So like, so that's what I try to teach. But the problem arises that, my students think they're doing a half step, but they're really only doing like a quarter step, and it makes it sound like an out of tune note. So in order to get that, I came up with this drill, right? You're going to play, like say we're going to go back to that C. I'll stand up so you can see my fingers. So I'm going to play that C with the octave key, and I'm going to go down to a B. So I want to play that B so I know what it sounds like. Right? So now I know that in my ear I'm going to go there. I'm going to bend down now. Right? And you use that combination of techniques I showed you. Right? And you try to make it to the B. So check the B again. Right? And then you try that on other notes. If you want to go to B flat, you're going to play an A. Right? If you want to do G, you do an F sharp. And so on. So that's one technique, and that's just bending down. Now, once we get down there, we can bend back up. So that's the next drill I want, because a lot of times we're going to start underneath a note. It's like a typical thing to go like, a lot of times, it's very rare to actually start right on the note unless you really want that. But if you're playing like a, kind of a really bluesy kind of thing, you're often going to go like, and bend up to the note. So we need to learn how to get that note to be a true half step. Otherwise, it just kind of sounds out of tune, and we don't want that. So using the C again, because it's a fairly easy note, you play that B, right? And then you're going to go, you're actually going to try to nail the note right away. So you can practice doing it again, bending down. Now I know where it feels right, and then I'm going to try doing it right away. All right, so I go to B again. Get the idea? So that way, by doing that, you can really hear whether you're in tune or not. And you practice enough of this, and it's really going to pay off. Do the same thing with the G. It's a little harder note. F sharp. Listen to the F sharp. Now I'm singing the G. It takes a lot of support also. Think about, opening up everything, blowing from down here, blowing the air, keep the air moving, open up your throat, and, and bend that pitch down. Okay? And then you should be able to, then you can start to do that kind of stuff like. Whatever. So now I'm going to give you a couple of ways to put that into time. So because you need to, actually do all this stuff in a certain time feel, because if not, then it also starts to sound like it's just out of tune. If you bend too slowly, getting to the downbeats, and you're still bending when you're at the downbeat, it sounds like an out of tune note. So. So you practice with a track. So I use a B flat blues concert. It's G blues for the alto players. It's B flat concert, and you need to know 3 chords only. And we're going to be playing the roots of each chord, and we're going to be bending a half step into it on the and of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, down. Okay, so here I go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I started in the first, in the low octave for the first part, and then I jumped up an octave. And that's all I did with that. And that's the first level of difficulty that you should do. Make sure that you're getting that true half step as we talked about. And then the next thing would be to do, just like a one rhythm. So like say let's do 1, 2, N3, N4, N1, 2, N3, N4, N. And on that and, that's going to be our note where we start below the pitch and we're going to bend up to the note on the beat. And we're going to just improvise.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And so anything like that where you just kind of, you pick one rhythm and you just get it to the point where you can really nail that pitch, that half step, and then whatever kind of improvisation you want to do. And then you can turn that from an eighth note into a triplet thing. So you
1,
just same
2,
thing.
3, 4.
So once again, it's the same deal. I'm just playing N, 1, 2, N3, and 4, and 1. So you're picking a rhythm like that just helps you to like lock it in. It gives you a chance to get to the point where you feel confident that you can do it. You can do it on different notes. Pick different notes. Force yourself to get it in on different notes, and then you can just start to after you get that, you can try starting the bend on different beats. So then for this last thing, I'll just kind of play around a little bit and kind of show bending up and down. And then in a future one, I'll show you how to bend down to a note.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So I would never put that many, bends in the solo, in one chorus, but, that's a great way to practice, right? You really want to just get to the point where you can, bend all over the place. And so while you're doing that, just make sure that, those bends are in tune, that you don't sound like you're out of tune. The drills will help you do that. So practice the drills, and then I'm going to do another recording to teach you how to do this little thing, like going like C to B flat, like where it sounds like you're bending. It's kind of like an illusion. You're only bending a half step, but it sounds like you're bending all the way down into the B flat. And if you have any other questions after you're watching this video, problems and things like that, just let me know, and I'll try to put them in that next video. All right, take care, guys.